part sun, 4 to 6 hours of direct sun per day, including some afternoon sun. Because you got to remember that afternoon sun, it's a scorcher. That morning sun, it's like, oh, look, you're basking in a beautiful light. That afternoon sun is like, burn, leaves. That's Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Mosco, and today we are going to do a sun study. I am holding some black-eyed peas. If you watched my garden tour, you'd know why. I get distracted easily. So we live in East Tennessee. We garden in a zone 7B. And I live up in the woods, obviously, in a modern log cabin, and I love it up here. However, there are some areas that are plaguing me. And I think it's because I don't have my sun conditions right. So today, hold on, we'll go back outside where you can see. Today, yes, I've got a jacket pulled around me. Hey, I get cold easy, don't judge me. Today we're gonna do a sun study. So what that means is we're gonna go out every hour, see what's in the shade, what's in the sun. We're gonna write it down, and then we're gonna determine how many hours of sun and shade an area gets. So, the reason you do a sun study, plants obviously are categorized into shade, part shade, full shade, part shade, part sun, and sun, more or less. And I keep thinking that this area over here, nope, where is it at? Right here, where this planter is full sun. I don't think it is. I originally planted this like it was full sun, and I don't think it is. I think it's more shady than I think. And, girls, don't eat the plants. And then up in front of my house is a very interesting situation. So, up here we've got these beds that wrap around. Let me flip you around. On this side to here, it looks like it's full sun. In fact, that Japanese maple is burnt to a crisp. These plants are doing great. Now, the same goes all the way down and wraps around the other side of the house. But over there, it's real shady. Like bad 7-Eleven shady. So, we need to know how much sun this is getting. It's 9:30 now. We'll probably have to come out here every hour for, tomorrow morning I'll have to come out here when the sun rises. And then every hour today, in between those two, we'll figure out how much sun it gets. So what I did was draw up the beds in question. So I've got this section that's the house, and this section is the beds down in front of me. I'm not sure how much they get either. Now, that section gets full shade. I'd like to see how much sun this gets. Now, ideally, we want to plant this up with hydrangeas because I love hydrangeas. But there are some hydrangeas that can take more sun than others. And my fear is going to be that the shady parts just get too much shade for any hydrangea to produce blooms. And I've noticed as I'm looking around, if you want a blooming bush, someone comment below. But if it is truly full shade, it ain't happening. And the other issue is, I want it to be the same all the way down. I want it to be a cohesive foundation planting. And to do that, that means I'm gonna have to have plants that can tolerate basically full sun to basically full shade. So maybe a boxwood. Now, I always said I wouldn't have boxwoods because formality and a modern log cabin, them two things ain't the same, friends. They're just not the same. But that might be where we're at the end of the day. I don't know what you want me to do. I didn't make these rules, but if I put $1,000 worth of hydrangeas up here and they don't ever bloom, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm just saying. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna write down if this is in the sun or the shade. This gimbal is mad at me. It's pretty much shade the whole time. This is shade, so we're gonna write down that it's 9:30. Shade, shade. This is shade right now. And the entirety of this bed is all shade. Everything's in the shade. So now we've got that. And I made copies of this so that at 10:30 we can do the next one. So 10:30 we'll do the next one. So I'm gonna come out here every hour. Tomorrow morning I'll kind of come out here and look and see if anything's in the sun, because I doubt it will be if it's not in the sun by 9:30. If it's still in the shade, it's probably not gonna be sun at 6 a.m. Also, I wanna add this. This is August, whatever, 20th. And so, you know, in June and July when the sun comes up at 1 a.m., not really, but you know, like 4 or 5 a.m., 5 a.m., right? 6, 5, 5:30, something like that. Obviously, during those times of year, you are going to get more sun hours than you will here in August. But we can get kind of a rough idea of what we're looking at. So let me go through, now that you've seen what we're gonna do here. So basically, if you can see right here, I'm going to write down every hour whether or not we're in the sun and shade. At the end of the day, we'll go through and add up for each section. Oh, this one got 4 hours of sun. This one got no hours of sun. This one got 6 hours of sun. And then we can categorize from there what kind of plants we need. So again, these areas, I should have done this a long time ago before I spent money on plants, but these areas have been plaguing me for a while, and that's what leads me to do this. Now, I know that this area in front of me is pretty much full sun. I can tell that because I put full sun plants here and they do well. But I want to see just how many hours it actually gets, because maybe it gets a little bit more than I think, and then I can put a hydrangea in here. Okay, so light definitions, full sun, more than 6 hours of direct sun a day. So I would need to come out here and the sun would need to be blasting down on something for me to name it sun. So like light on the ground sun. Okay, part sun, 4 to 6 hours of direct sun per day, including some afternoon sun. Because you got to remember that afternoon sun, it's a scorcher. That morning sun, it's like, oh, look, you're basking in a beautiful light. That afternoon sun is like, burn, leaves. That was a little dramatic. Part shade, 4 to 6 hours of direct sun per day, but mostly before midday. So if I had an area of my yard, like my backyard, that's getting sun right now, that's it. And full shade is less than 4 hours of direct sun per day. So what we'll do at the end of this 24 hours, and like I said, tomorrow morning I'll come out here and I'll do like an assessment of the situation, you know. I would say it's probably all gonna be shade. Because I live in the woods, you know, like, look at these trees. I doubt I will before 9:30, but we'll look and see. So the whole point of this is to find out, ideally, again, I'd love to have hydrangeas here, but I think it's gonna be too much shade for them to bloom. And I would also like you guys to put in the comments what plants you think will do well here, being at full sun to probably full shade, and we'll find that out for sure tomorrow. So what we'll do is come back in probably tomorrow morning. We'll come back and we'll see the results of the study, and we'll talk about maybe some potential plants that we could put in here. And then again, I want you to put your plants in comments that you think. So it's been a couple days since I started my sun study on the front, and I wanted to wrap up kind of with what our results were. So I didn't get to go out every hour, but I think I can deduct from what I've got, everything out here is in the shade, except for me right now. Let me see if I can scoot over a little bit. Is that better? See, now I had just brushed off this here bench right here. Y'all, I need to clean this porch. There's so many things that I need to do. Like see what my dogs are eating. Anyhow, so at 9:30, this is what it looked like. Everything was in the shade near the house, the whole thing, totally in the shade. And then at 10:30, everything was in the shade, but this tiny little block in the corner was in the sun. And then at 11:30, somehow, everything's still in the shade. Then at 1:30, like the sun was just on this little corner over here and this little corner over here. So, you know, we can give 1 hour to that. At 2 p.m., this whole section was in the sun. So from 1:30 to 2, so right now, let's say 2:30, and somewhere in there, this got in the sun as well. So we're talking about so far 1 hour. And then at 4:45, all of this was in the sun, but this was back in the shade. So this area probably is definitely getting less than 4 hours of sun a day, which means this is basically full shade. And this is getting, what time did it start? 1:30. So this section here is definitely getting less than 4 hours. And then over here, we're starting at 1:30, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's getting right around 5 to 6 hours. But what's rough about that is that it's all afternoon sun. So it's going to need to be plants that can tolerate shade but can hit that high sun mark. So that's going to be an interesting place to plant. So what that means is when I'm looking at foundation plantings, I need some full sun options. And when it does get sun, which is this side right, no, this side right, no. Let me hold it like this so I can orientate, which is this side right here. It's again that afternoon hot sun. So I would love to have hydrangeas as my foundation planting. Would love to. I am concerned. So obviously I need to pick a more shade tolerant hydrangea, which is going to be oak leaf hydrangeas. That's the most shade tolerant. So yeah, that makes it a little bit more challenging to plant. A lot of things in my yard are full shade, and that's fine. So I think I'm going to try to do Munchkin oak leaf hydrangeas so that they won't get giant. And those tend to stay more compact, AKA, you all right, buddy? Yeah. It discourages leggy growth, and hope that if I fertilize them enough, they'll bloom some. I really don't want any formal looking bushes. My next pick would be an Abelia of some kind. That has maybe brighter chartreusey colors, or even like a Sun King Aurelia, because it is full shade. But again, that one side is going to be tricky because it's going to get hot afternoon sun. And what I may need to do is just like get an umbrella and shade it the first year till they are established, and then maybe they can handle a little bit more sun. But that's the game plan. I would love to do Munchkin oak leaf hydrangeas, and like I say, plant them back far enough that I can plant something in front of them. We're going to add Munchkin oak leaf hydrangeas there. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but I just wanted to see. The other thing that's interesting is I currently have a limelight planted down there and a hibiscus planted down there that are supposed to be full sun plants, and obviously it's not full sun on that other side. Even though it's getting like 5 and they're performing okay, I could leave them down there. But I may move them to the backyard. I would, again, like to kind of backdrop it with some oak leaf hydrangeas. And then maybe, I want to put a Japanese maple in there. Be careful with your fingers, but I'm concerned that it will burn. It might be a good place to put some conifers or something like that that I don't expect a lot of growth out of. The blue spruce is doing great over there. But again, we have to watch that afternoon heat to make sure it doesn't just get them. But that's kind of my game plan over there, is switch things to a little bit more shade tolerant plants, or things that can do sun and shade, in hopes that they'll perform better and look better. I do want to fully plant that area. I've got a lot of areas that I've started and I just haven't got the plants for. I had the plants for and the dogs ate them. So that's the story with that. So just in case you ever wanted to know how to do a sun study, or how to, like, again, I could have been out here every hour, it would have been more precise. But once I started to figure out that it goes most of the day without seeing sun, we kind of knew what we were dealing with, didn't we? But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching this one. Hopefully this is helpful information. Comment below the plants you think I should be putting these places. A camellia. Camellia's in that like side bed. Hopefully it can take the heat. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.